Hi, this is Nelly from the Maas, my mother and my best friend, and I'm Tine from the Maas. There has been a lot of news coverage on the controversy between, on the one side, our Minister of Health, Dr. Manta Tshabalala Masimang, on her stance of natural remedies like lemons and garlic, and on the other side, the Treatment Action Campaign, politicians, journalists, doctors and scientists who relentlessly push for antiretrovirals as the only solution. We are the people being referred to as Dr. Manto's quacks, the people behind the wellness program Dr. Manto keeps referring to.
We don't mind being called the quacks, but what we really do mind and what hurts is that so many people are suffering and dying unnecessarily, that so many children are left orphans just because the press and the media keeps blocking this out. Instead of doing the investigation, instead of coming to see for themselves, they keep ignoring it.
You have to ask yourself the question, why would any person in her right mind take the kind of abuse that she or we have been taking in the last couple of years? The only answer I can give you is because we know this program works. Nothing can convince us otherwise. The program is so easy because it treats so many different kinds of diseases. It treats health problems like AIDS, like asthma, arthritis, diabetes, epileptic fits, glandular fever, stomach ulcers, diarrhea, shingles, cataracts. All we're doing in this program is we detoxify the body and restore the biochemistry. To prove once and for all to you that this program works, we decided to go to the hills of KwaZulu-Natal, what they say is the epicenter of AIDS in the world, to show you that our program works. We treated about 400 patients. We let them speak and you be the judge. These mountains and hills surrounding the Inanda Dam would be our home for the next 3.5 months. One of the first lessons we learned in rural KwaZulu-Natal is that rain, dirt roads and city cars don't mix. This reality sank in quickly when a community worker took us to see one of our first patients. She'd had a mouth throat operation and the family called her illness the Big Ill. They did not know what kind of operation or sickness she had, as the doctors had not told them. She had totally lost her appetite, had become so weak that she could hardly sit up, and was unable to walk for the last 5 weeks. She was deteriorating so fast that the family had started preparing her grave. To detoxify the body and bring back appetite, we give all our patients the lemon and olive oil mixture, which for her we had already mixed at home. We also give all our patients garlic, as this is a natural antibiotic and also activates the immune system. This one, 3 tablespoons in the morning, in the afternoon. We then explain to the family how to implement our program. When somebody has not walked for some time, it is very important to massage the legs, not only to build up the muscles, but also to get the blood circulation going. When we visited her again, the family was very excited, as she had already been walking for 4 days, washing herself, going to the toilet and becoming quite independent. The reason it works so well is that you have detoxified the body and restored the biochemistry. We had treated many patients successfully. 3 weeks later, with great excitement from the community, Dr. Manto came to see firsthand what we were doing. Our patient was very eager to tell her story to Dr. Manto, Nkosi Bengu, the king, Amatao, his right-hand man, and the local health committee.
I was very, very sick. This part of my mouth was very painful and I could not eat. My power had gone. After the health worker came to my house, She told me about these whites. They gave me some things like garlic and lemon, which made me get my appetite back, and I could eat again, even the rice and maize meal. I'm getting stronger every day, walking everywhere. Now I'm all right.
When the Minister of Health visited us the second time, we spotted her sitting in the audience, a beautiful, healthy, strong and vibrant woman. By using food to change this very sick woman back to health is food for thought.
Northern Africa, Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, Western Africa.
As the word spread across this vast area that people were healing, all the local community workers wanted to get involved as they all knew of many patients who needed help. We arranged a meeting with them, and once they understood what our program was about, they agreed they would take us to see their patients. We treated many people with AIDS symptoms. We don't know if they were HIV positive or not, because unless patient told us if they were, we never asked. But if you look at the word acquired immune deficiency syndrome, we call it actually acquired immune deficiency symptoms, because it makes sense that if your immune system is not working, if it is deficient, then obviously you're going to get sick. How you acquired it, there's different ways. And malnourishment is one of the biggest causes of AIDS symptoms. It doesn't matter if somebody tests HIV positive or HIV negative, they can still have the AIDS symptoms. We had many children that were born of HIV negative mothers, and they had the full-blown AIDS symptoms. They had the pus hits, they had the sores, they had the skin, they had the little hair, they had the chest problems, the swollen feet. But all you're looking at is severe malnourishment. A healthy body cannot get sick. Fix the malnourishment and you fix the AIDS symptoms. One of the community workers organized for us to speak at the local clinic. This was the second of many health talks we held during our stay. We always say, knowledge is power. No knowledge, no power. Hence the name of this documentary, Power to the People. That day, we also saw many patients with various health problems like asthma, sugar diabetes, general weakness and AIDS, and started them on our program.
We've got a problem. We are not allowed to work from the clinic anymore, because we are not allowed to sit here in the clinic and hand out food. Not for any patient.
Same old story. After being kicked out of the clinic, Nkosi, who had seen the results we had achieved, gave us permission to work on the road opposite the clinic. He even offered us the use of his van, which we transformed into a consulting room, so it was business as usual. During one of our health talks, one of the many patients we have treated with earache came to tell us that she had used garlic oil in her ear to stop a year-long earache. Ear infections are usually caused by funguses, and as garlic has antifungal properties, it works really well. To get to some of the homesteads was sometimes a real challenge. In this home, we met with a very sick brother and sister. As is often the case, when you find one sick person in a house, you will be guaranteed to find others, as they all eat the same food. This young woman was very sick, very weak, and severely depressed, as she already had lost her partner, the father of her baby. She and her brother suffered from the same physical symptoms, including diarrhea, body pains, skin problems, swollen legs and feet, and had lost weight. She started straight away on our program. 12 days later, she already had regained some of her weight and was able to walk to the hall and back, a distance of about 4 kilometers. The brother, however, was not interested in our program and continued visiting the clinic. The difference was so obvious. While she had improved dramatically, he was becoming sicker by the day, eventually being too weak to walk. You feel so powerless when you see someone deteriorate in front of your eyes. You know you could help them, but they've made their own choice. On our last home visit, she really looked amazing. She was glowing and extremely happy, and had reason to be. After 9 months of not having had her periods, her menstruation had started again. Seeing her and her child together made us realize this is one orphan less to care for.
She thanks to us because we help her. We help her too much. She said, go write about cataracts.
No baba.
Even her father, he make a garden at home and he plant too much vegetables, which helps her.
Thank you.
We are born. Thanks a lot.
African condition, African position, African condition, African condition, African solution, African solution.
Many of our patients have now started their own vegetable gardens as they realize that good nutrition is the key to health. The whole point why we went to KwaZulu-Natal is that Kim, the cameraman, is a member of the Oncology Awareness Center. It is an NGO specializing in promoting wellness through food, especially organic grown vegetables and fruit. He and the other members of the NGO share their knowledge with the local community, and their goal is that every home should have a vegetable garden.
Well, the major problem we encountered when we went in to work in the clinics was a high sugar, diabetes, high blood pressure. They go together. It got all to do with malnourishment. People spend their money in the wrong ways. They take sugar, they take cool drink, they take refined white mealie meal, and instead of eating the fruit and vegetables, their high blood pressure goes up, the sugar goes up, and you get all the different problems going with it. The same signs and symptoms, the headaches, the pain in the stomach, swollen knees, swollen feet, and eventually blindness are a result of an overuse of sugar.
Sugar has got a very nice name these days. It's called diabetes. But when you come down to it, sugar causes sugar. Although the landscape looks idyllic, hidden behind this picture-perfect facade is the reality of poverty, unemployment and hardship. This point was driven home again when we met the 74-year-old woman. She was an uncontrolled diabetic and suffered from high blood pressure, which combined together is lethal. She had been confined to this small room for 5 years as she was unable to walk because of extreme swollen, painful legs and feet.
Nice.
On our next visit, her swollen feet had come down tremendously. Imagine for a few moments being her, even having to ask somebody for the bucket every time nature calls. Now imagine how she must have felt when she started walking again. To show us, she dressed up for the occasion and, watched by the neighbors, gave us a joyful performance. With our last visit, we were pleasantly surprised to see her do her own household chores, which she had been unable to do for the last 5 years. This lady was never short of words and had lots to say about everything. One of her complaints was that she still owed money to the hospital, although they had not helped her. We left behind a very happy woman with her life back. Due to the very high prevalence of sugar and high blood pressure in this area, we spent many hours educating people on the subject. During these so-called sugar talks, we make people aware of how much extra weight they are carrying around. Once they get over their surprise, it then makes sense that they suffer from all their various health problems like high blood, sugar, body pains, swollen feet, etc., etc. We explain that the body's biggest enemy are sugar and refined foods, and that living on a diet of porridge, meat, sugar, cool drinks and some alcohol will make you guaranteed sick. Instead, we tell people to eat wholesome food. Once people understand this, many change their lifestyles, like one of our ladies. Within 2 months, her sugar level had dropped from 20.3 to 8.2. She had lost 8 kilograms and her blood pressure had normalized. Although we held many sugar talks, not all of them were appreciated. These ladies were definitely not happy with this information. They argued that sugar gives you energy, as falsely advertised in the media. When he stuck to his point, one by one they stood up and left the room. Meanwhile, back at the hall, life continued as usual, with many sugar and high blood pressure patients getting well, as was the case with this gentleman.
When I first heard about this clinic, I was doubting it really. But now, I can see the difference. Before, I was a severe diabetic person. When I started using the stuff they gave me at this clinic, I feel much better.
We not only treated people internally, but also externally. Many people suffered from so-called untreatable funguses, oozing wounds that did not heal, and sores that were caused by malnutrition, and had been walking around with them for weeks, months, and even years. Many people are suffering from shingles, an extremely painful condition as it affects the nerve endings, and the remedy is so simple. You only need 1 Disprin, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and 1 tablespoon of aqueous cream. Mix it together in a paste. Apply it to the affected area and repeat twice more if necessary. After 1 hour and 15 minutes of treatment, he was asked how he was feeling.
I'm feeling better.
What is important to remember is, why did you get shingles in the first place? It means that you're malnourished and that your body needs proper food again, because otherwise the shingles will keep on coming back. The next young woman we met turned out to be a very difficult patient to help. She had been very sick for 1 year, had not been able to walk for a month, was still suffering from severe pains caused by shingles, and had just started treatment for drug-resistant TB. She and her family had already accepted that she was going to die soon, so there was no motivation from her side or her family's to help her to get well. We knew she had a very good chance of making it, but to change the mindset from acceptance of dying to one of wanting to live is sometimes almost impossible. You have to try to reach their mind and heart, being either supportive and having empathy, or to ask them harsh questions. You try to break through the apathy and in that way reach their spirit and their will to survive. 7 days later, we found to our disappointment that her grandmother had misunderstood the program and had only given her everything once a day. Instead of being able to walk, she only managed to sit up. We prepared all the things again to make sure she understood this time. The next time we came, although she was walking, she was still very depressed. For the first time we could weigh her and were pleasantly surprised by her weight. When we saw the health status of the rest of the family, especially the young children with sores all over their heads and bodies, we decided to adopt the whole family on the program. This visit turned out to be the breaking point. She came walking in with a stick and had in fact deteriorated. The sisters were not helping to prepare all the things, and she had only used 3 from 21 lemons for the week.
You want her to die?
You wanted to
How many lemons did you get?
Why are you going like this?
I thought
They should have been finished.
Yeah, they should have been finished. We
Because
calculated it
it's
exactly.
18 now.
Huh?
Because it's 18 now. Left.
It was a relief to see that the message had finally sunk in and that the family was now fully supportive and hopeful.
Yeah.
Most of her complaints had disappeared, except for her one foot, which was still swollen. It was time to laugh again, even about the bad times.
I know.
Ja, but you didn't get to finish.
Der ganze Kopf war voll mit alles. Ja. You can see the eyes are a little bit darker as well.
Yeah. He's heavier.
Kijk eens op zijn benen. African solutions.
Look, they're dry.
The face is a lot better.
The hair.
She was improving by the day, participating in life again, and doing her share in the chores.
Cleaning the garden.
On her last visit, she and her sister were sitting in the kitchen. She was busy taking the second portion of that day and was not cheating anymore. She was back in the land of the living.
Nothing to complain? This is absolutely fantastic. The first time we saw her was on the 26th of October, and almost every question was yes. And very slowly the yes turned to no, and the last 4 weeks, the only yes is, are you happy? All the other ones are no.
She had sick for a long time, and she got a TB and also used the TB treatment. But now she's fine after using our treatment, Africa Solution, garlic, ginger, as well as olive oil and lemons. She's happy now because she's eating, walking, and do everything. Yeah. And she promised us she's never lay down. And she's still using our treatment too.
Give me say it's an African solution. Feel me say it's an African solution.
Halfway through our stay, to our pleasant surprise, the traditional healers approached Nkosi Bengu, the king, to ask him if we were willing to share our information, as they had seen and heard that our program works for so many health problems. For us, it was a wonderful experience to share with the Sangomas in the singing and the rituals, which are all part of their customs. After a very colourful day, it was back to the day-to-day life of home visits and clinic days. This young woman was very weak, very sick, with many health problems and very stubborn. She had shingles and all kinds of sores on her leg and body, which we started treating straight away. Unfortunately, she refused to help herself and changed her very unhealthy lifestyle. On our next visit, we found indeed that she was cheating, so we walked out. 3 days later, we went back, left her supplies, and told her where she could find us if she wanted to. Luckily, she did.
I slept on the bed a long time. I visited the hospital, but I saw no difference. Then I heard from someone that there are some people who can help me. Tine and Nelly came to my house and told me not to eat sugar and drink. It was hard for me to do, but I tried till I do it. thank you very much to Tine for coming to help me, because I was just lying on that mat from the year 2000 until the year 2004.
Some of our patients became our volunteers, like Tondi, who we met right at the beginning of our stay in our mobile clinic.
I came here at wellness program as a patient. I went to the sangomas, doctors, even clinics, and they failed to help me. They told me that my leg is going to be cut off because it has got a disease. So I found the wellness progress on October 22, and they told me that this thing is going to take out, they're going to take out this thing. This is not true if they say my leg is going to cut off. So I chose to volunteer here at Wellness Program because I saw their help is very good. I saw many people they help here who's got some different kinds of disease, and they come to us and say thanks to us because we help them.
TB is basically, again, a problem of malnourishment and poverty. So many people suffer from it that they go 2-3 times through their lifespan of getting infected again.
Life is sometimes unfair. This gentleman had lost his job because he had been very sick with TB and asthma for more than a year. He really thought he was going to die because he could hardly breathe and was starved of oxygen. We put him on the whole program and started teaching him the breathing exercises. 49.
Hey, I'm very happy now. Hey, too much power now. Yeah. Hey. Northern Africa, Southern Africa, Eastern Africa.
Asthma is a growing health problem all over the world. More and more people, especially youngsters like this one, are put on medication for the rest of their lives unnecessarily.
Now there is a very simple way of getting rid of asthma. You just put the patient on African solution, on ginger, because that would expand the chest and give them more oxygen. And the other thing is breathing exercises. It's a very simple exercise, just by throwing out all the air at the count of 4, very slowly inhale at the count of 8 and hold it there for 8. And then you do it again and again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What we recommend our patients as well is to sing as much as possible. And funny enough, the nicest word we find that you can use for it is hallelujah, because you expel all your air out. Most patients that do this and go on this program, after 2-3 weeks, can get rid of the pumps.
She took the whole program. After using the program, she didn't see the need of the pump anymore. So
we were confronted quite a few times with people with epileptic fits over the years, and it started tickling us what causes it and why it is happening and why suddenly out of the blue. So we started thinking that the brain is basically made of fat, and if you get an epileptic fit, it is like a short. That is what you see. So we started reasoning that if you would add extra fats to the diet and the brain would get these fats, then these shorts would stop. For the past 6 years, this young girl had between 8 and 15 big fits daily and needed constant care. Within a week on our program, all the big fits had stopped, and she only experienced a very small fit every 2 to 3 weeks, usually when she had run out of some of the oils. Now at the age of 14, she is well enough to go to a special school for the first time. Another epileptic patient had from the age of 4 between 5 and 8 big fits a day each lasting at least 5 minutes. Since being on our program from 2000, he only gets one small fit every fortnight and his mind is developing again. Instead of being a loving but heavy burden to his family, he is now able to do his own chores.
Northern Africa, Southern Africa, Eastern Africa.
You really know people believe in your program when they start bringing the patients who are unable to walk to you in wheelbarrows. Since June 2004, this young man had been very sick. On top of that, he had an operation to remove some kidney stones in September and was still connected to a bag. He had become so weak that he had developed bed sores all over his body and had become desperate for help. When you do this kind of work, you only need one patient a day who recovers beautifully. It really makes your day and makes everything worthwhile. Up till now, he still had been going to the clinic for the bed sore on his bum. But when he saw how quick his other sores were healing with just applying Africa Solution, he asked us to come to his home so we would be able to teach him how to treat his other sores. Just glad to be alive and enjoying every minute of it, this young man is on a mission. His goal, to get healthy. So here's a little crust still, but this is also, that was pink before, and this will come out. You can see the African Solution actually sitting on it. His sores on his head had nearly healed, as well as the ones on his feet.
I was sick about 5 months. Now I'm feeling better. I'm doing I'm using the natural thing, and eating the garlic and the ginger and the lemon juice, and it's doing better for me. I'm feeling okay. I can't walk. I was losing the weight. Now I'm starting to gain again, and I'm feeling very better. I wish everybody can take this medicine. It's a natural thing, it's working for me. And the sores I was got is starting healing. It's coming very well. Okay.
African solution for every condition. African solution for every position. African solution for every condition.
If only our message would be able to get out to the people. If only the media would not block this information. If only doctors and scientists would stop and take note, only then the misery and suffering could stop. That the plants, herbs and fruits of Africa heal the people of Africa. The point was made again that journalists are not doing their jobs. When Dr. Monte came to visit the Umkolozi area on the 5th of December 2004, people testified. Patients were saying that they got better. Blind ladies were seeing again. Dr. Monte spoke for 20 minutes. 1 minute on alcohol abuse, 19 minutes on health promotion. What did the newspapers report on the next day? Just on Monte warns no drunken driving over Christmas. Why are they keeping this information out? I've got no idea. This lady's testimony was one of those that the press had ignored.
I was sick for 10 years. 10 years of doing everything in bed, not even washing myself. Even if I wanted to go somewhere, I couldn't because I could not walk. I was even urinating in bed. I went to the doctors, clinics, sangomas, everywhere, looking for help, which I didn't get. But after these whites arrived, one of the health workers and my neighbor took me to see them. I told them my problem, and they gave me garlic, ginger, olive oil, Pronutro, lemons, and Africa solution. I asked myself, how am I going to use those things, especially garlic? So I used it because I was looking for my life back. I think I used it for 2 weeks and I started to see the difference. I started to walk and couldn't believe it because I was walking. My hands were swelling, but after using these things, they were not swelling anymore, and I could wash my body again. I don't know how I can thank my husband, because if he was the other person, he was going to leave me and look for somebody else. He is a real man, because he waited for 10 years. I couldn't do anything. Even if he was touching me, I would tell him, "Oh no, I'm sick." I really thank these whites for taking away my sickness, but I'm still taking these things. I didn't stop. Now I can even cook for my husband. That is why I'm saying, Viva garlic and ginger!
Many people regained their eyesight, including people with cataracts, by mixing a special eye drop solution and applying it twice a day.
I was struck by the scalams in the train some 8 days ago, and my right eye was fatally hurt. But up now I'm using one eye, left hand one. But at the time, it comes that it was little like mist-like. Couldn't see nicely with the same eye that was in head. But when I came to the awareness people there, they only helped me by giving me some drops and some of the stuff to eat. And then my eye now is starting to be very clear, and my whole body, myself, I can feel very nice, feeling very fit.
Vicky, you want to marry me?
Oh, really? Now that's very early.
After feeling tired and depressed because he was nearly blind, only being able to see through a thick fog, this 70-year-old gentleman asked one of our volunteers to marry him. After regaining his vision with our drops, he now could see how beautiful she is.
I was blind, having cataracts for 20 years, and they gave me some drops to use in the morning and in the evening. After about 12 days, stuff came out of my eyes. I took some wet toilet paper and wiped my eyes. Now one eye can see clearly and the other one the shade, but the stuff is still coming out. I even have grandchildren that I didn't know, but now I can see them.
Nelly ran unexpectedly into her on the same day that we had heard that she could see again. The doors of the world had opened for her again, as she was now able to fully participate in the happenings around her.
They did not only give me the drops. Because my body was painful all over, after I used what they gave me, like African solution, I could not believe it. I was feeling much, much better than before, and everyone was amazed. I'm emphasizing that I won't forget them, because they even cured my knees, who were very painful. I'm saying that they helped my one neighbor, me, and my other neighbor, who was very, very sick. We have to preach this to other people, because many, many people are with the same problem.
Her life has since changed dramatically. She's never at home, walking these steep hills like a young girl and catching up with old friends, family and lost times. What we've seen with sick people is that the pH of the body, of the blood and the sputum, is acid. This is also the case with arthritis and with AIDS. The easiest way to treat this is to do the lemons and olive oil mixture, because then you detoxify the body. And what is very good to see when you know that the lemon juice is working is that the urine turns to dark. And then you know that the liver is detoxifying. When people start doing this treatment, they need to drink extra water, because as this acid is all leaving their body, it goes from the liver to the kidneys and from the kidneys to the bladder and out. But if there's not enough water, then the acid forms kidney stones.
Take for example this woman.
For the last few years, this lady had suffered from terrible arthritis and was severely handicapped and depressed by the constant pain. 1 week later, she walked in and we hardly recognized her, as she was symptom-free and acted like a different person. Even we were amazed by the speed of her recovery. We met a very nice young man called Jesaja. And Jesaja was very sick when we met him. He'd already had TB, he had pneumonia, he'd been in hospital, his legs were swollen, he had sores on his skin, sores on his mouth. Basically, you could say he had AIDS. And we started chatting, and then we started putting him on the program. And this is how he looked after 1 week. And after 2 months, this is how he looks like. And when we show these pictures to people that have been diagnosed, and we say, look what happens after 1 week, after 3 weeks, after 2 months, this will happen with you too. And that is for the first time where you can see there is hope again, there's light. And that is why I really want to thank Jesaja for allowing us to have used his photographs everywhere. When you look at the food that we eat, and we're looking at chemicals that we eat, is it a wonder that we are getting sick these days? And then the big controversy actually is that we got sick of chemicals, and then we are being treated with chemicals. Patients who are too sick to take ARVs are first put on our program by their doctors. Once they are well enough, these doctors then switch them over to ARV treatment. Does that make sense?
I was diagnosed with HIV treatment with drugs on 2000, and I had the side effects took place, and I had stroke on my right side. I stopped using ARVs on 2004 October, so I started using natural medication. So I'm much better now, no complaint at all. People who came here very sick, and then once we put them on the program, they came much better. So I'm back. I'm asked the government to help us.
After a few weeks that we were busy, young people came forward to offer to help us and offer the services. I can only say without them we could never, ever, ever have done what we could do now. They were the most wonderful group of young people, dedicated, caring, loving. They were absolutely fantastic. And Tine and myself, with all our heart, thank you. These last 4 months have been one of the most wonderful experiences in our lives. And I think I speak for both of us. The results we have seen with the patients, all recovering, all doing well, all with a big smile, all happy. The results were amazing. And it confirmed over and over again what we have been keeping saying all these years. Please, take care of your body and your body will be healthy. Eat the right stuff and you will be healthy.
What you've seen here are people that got healthy without medication. They've got rid of their asthma pumps. They've got rid of their arthritis medication. They've got rid of ARVs. You don't need medication for many of the problems. In certain places, you do need medication. But for other places, let herbs heal you. Let fruit and vegetables heal you. What our hope is now is that South Africa wakes up and that you can see that without many of the medications, people can live healthy and long lives. Let's not wait for whatever else to happen. Let's start now and get this information out so people can start making their own choices. But without knowledge, there's no choices.
Most of you will know that when we are in hospital, we see HIV/AIDS as a virus. When we are in church, we see HIV/AIDS as a sin. And when we are at home, we see HIV/AIDS as a punishment for living our customs and traditions. Personally, I hope that one day soon, we are going to be confronted by a society which is open-minded enough to consider all aspects of the AIDS equation. Nutritional problems have been a big part of the clinical aspect of AIDS from its earliest recognition as a new disease. Yet, it must be noted that AIDS is not a disease, but a condition resulting from the breakdown of the human system. Greatest impediment to lasting success in underdeveloped regions is poverty and hunger. So alleviating our organic food shortages ought to be our primary goal. Power to the people.
Northern Africa, Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, Western Africa. It is an African solution. African solution for every condition. African solution for every position. African solution for every condition. African solution for every position. African solution, African condition. African position for every condition. African solution, African solution for every condition. It is an African solution.
The people have spoken. Are we now going to stop the dying?